must unlearn what you have learned.
What I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Welcome back to another Star Wars and Philosophy episode, and today I wanted to discuss something that was kind of mind-blowing. I came across it, and maybe some of you have already as well, because it's out there. It's on the internet. In fact, I just pulled up several pages where this information is out there. And there is a prophecy in the Journal of the Whills in chapter 7, verse 477. And there's a bit of a controversy when it comes to the idea of the gray. Okay, the gray Jedi, or you can call it the middle ground, or the balance of the Force, the balance between light and dark, the use maybe of both light and dark. But here's the prophecy from the Journal of the Whills, chapter 7, verse 477.
First comes the day, then comes the night. After the darkness shines through the light. Difference, they say, is only made right by the resolving of the grey through refined Jedi sight.
So I wanted to talk about the introducing and the moving toward the gray that is happening within the Star Wars movies and franchise. And if the Journal of the Whills rings a little bit familiar, it might be because if you saw Rogue One, you had Shira Emwe, who you know is one of my favorites, and you had Baze, and they were referred to as the Guardians of the Whills, and we just had that novel come out, The Guardian of the Whills, and you might be asking, well, who are the Whills? Well, in George Lucas's original drafts and scripts of Star Wars, he wanted it to sound and come across as if it was being told by an outside entity. Okay, a group of observers to the whole story. And those observers were originally the Whills. And that became later the Force, in that concept of the Force. And so this is something that goes really deep-rooted into the whole Star Wars narrative. But this very prophecy, if you have the novelization of The Force Awakens, this very prophecy is in the foreword, the intro to that book, the novelization, and I was completely unaware of this, and it may have given us the clue as to where this whole new trilogy is going to go and where they might go beyond. And so the original trilogies and even the prequels had a really stark difference between light side and dark side. And, you know, the light side were the peacekeepers, and they were the ones who were the good guys, and then you have the dark side, the Sith. And they were given into anger, run by emotion, fueled by greed and the need for power, and they were the bad guys. And even George Lucas said so. But now we've got some blurring of the lines that are going on in Star Wars. Let me explain. So the introducing of the concept of the gray into canon, it seems like they've gone out of their way. And one way is the Ahsoka novel, as well as her appearances, you know, in the Clone Wars and Rebels. And she is full on a gray Jedi, even having gray lightsabers. Now, in relation to the lightsabers, Disney went out of their way to change the canon definition of what determines the color of a lightsaber. And no longer is it light side, dark side. It is dependent upon that particular person's, they have the influence on the kyber crystal, which is clear, and that determines what kind of lightsaber they have. So if you are more of a peacekeeper, you have a green lightsaber. If you are more of a warrior, you have a blue lightsaber. And then on the Sith have the red lightsaber. And then you have Mace Windu, who has purple, which is blue and red, because he was able to use dark side abilities while maintaining a loyalty to the Jedi. Okay, so then you have gray. And so gray is kind of like the absence of color. So it would be like more of a complete balance or a lack thereof of choosing a side. that you are remaining within the middle. Then you had the Bindu appear, okay? And the Bindu says I think Ashlan and the Bogan, which turns out to be separate planets that were the origination of the light side or the Jedi and the Sith. And so and he says, you have the Ashlan and the Bogan, I am the middle, okay? So you have this middle ground. And then people started talking about all sorts of other potential great Jedi, like Qui-Gon Jinn, possibly Count Dooku before he went over to the Sith, and others as you go through the timeline, those who didn't really toe the line of either the Jedi or the Sith. But then something happens in Rogue One. When I went to see Rogue One, all of a sudden there was no real good side or bad side. And I don't know if you picked up on this as well, but you've got the Rebel Alliance, and then you've got Saw Gerrera and his warriors. And Saw Gerrera and his warriors are almost like the Taliban of Star Wars, and it really makes you question, their tactics, their motives, and whether their actions are really good or whether they're just like the terrorists of the Star Wars world against the Empire that they didn't believe in. But even in the Empire, you got a difference between Tarkin and Krennic, and then Darth Vader and the Emperor, and their mentality even towards the Death Star, and whether it's a good thing or bad thing. And so then you've got this blurring that's going on. And then going back to The Force Awakens, what I heard in Snoke's character and his training and his dealing with Kylo Ren is that he doesn't want Kylo Ren to go full on into the darkness, but more of a mentality that I actually first heard from Palpatine.
If one is to understand the great mystery, one must study all its aspects, not just the dogmatic narrow view of the Jedi.
But that's what I got in Snoke. He's not a Sith, we know that. And then we don't even know what's going on with Luke. We don't know if he is a Jedi. We know he went to search for Jedi temples and Jedi relics. And what did he find? Now, we know that one of the temples, maybe one of the first, was on Ahsoka. We got exposed to that temple on Jeddah that was destroyed. And we know of the others that are in the galaxy. And so we've got this move towards the gray. And this prophecy really tells me that this is, and even the title, The Last Jedi, for Episode 8. And everybody's going, what does that mean? Is that implying that they are moving very strategically towards the fulfillment of this prophecy, towards the resolving of the gray through refined Jedi sight? Now, is that referring to Luke? Is it referring to Rey? Is it referring to Ren? Is it referring to Snoke? Who is it talking about? We don't know. That's what remains to be seen. So it's not a complete spoiler alert. They put this really out there visible for all of us to see. It seems like this is dictating the direction that they're going to go, and I'm excited for Episode 8. I'd love to hear your comments down below. What do you think about all of this?
Fulfill your destiny.
I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others and this channel with others. It helps every time you do that. It actually helps the channel out financially, and it helps us to grow and get in front of others.